Hello, I'm Dan Nornberg, advisor, coach, and consultant to executive and strategic leadership teams. Welcome to Nornberg's 90 Seconds. In these short clips, I'm going to share with you a leadership situation, the struggle, the blind spot, or difficulty that this created for a leader. And then in about 90 seconds, I'll tell you about the idea, the tool, or the insight this leader and I discussed to help them be more successful. And in doing so, should you encounter a similar situation like this sometime in your future, you'll have an additional resource to help you be more effective. Let me say a couple words about today's situation. A leader recently expressed her frustration because she expected her leadership team to be far more engaged and moving faster with a strategy that she'd recently introduced. She couldn't understand why things weren't going as she expected. Now, I asked this leader to describe her style of communication, how she led decision-making, and to say a few words about how she delegated to her leadership team and to those responsible for strategic implementation. When I touched on delegation, she turned to me and she said firmly, "Dan, nobody in my team says no to me. I don't take no for an answer." Now, I thought it was appropriate to play this back to her and allow her to reflect on this statement and the beliefs behind it. So we had a good conversation here, the essence of which I'd like to share with you now, anonymously, of course. So this is Nornberg's 90 Seconds. You can start the clock. When you look back, I asked this leader, who were the people in your life that you couldn't say no to? And she paused for a moment, and then she said, well, my father and one of my coaches, but they were both very, very successful. And then I asked, when you spoke to your father and you spoke to this particular coach and they wouldn't take no for an answer, how did you feel? And she said, I felt very small and like I didn't have a voice. And then I said, this is something for you to think about. On one hand, you're asking people to be more engaged, more strategic, to step out. And on the other hand, you're not giving people any freedom. You're not giving them the opportunity to take any choices or even to say no to you when they think it's appropriate. People that can take choices and make decisions tend to take ownership for situations around them and operate more strategically. How would you like people to feel about the strategy and about working with you, I asked. And she said, I'd like people to feel responsible for the strategy and confident that they can deliver on their part. And I also want them to feel secure that they can come to me when they're struggling and I'm there to support them. After this conversation, this leader went back into her team and she encouraged people to challenge her, to push back, and to say no when they thought it was appropriate. How do you, in your leadership team, encourage people to say no constructively? That's Nornberg's 90 Seconds. Thanks for listening.